America's power grid has a report card. 13 regions came back flagged. 6 came back high risk. And the deadline nobody's talking about hits Monday. I'm the Doomsday Badger. I don't guess. I read what they already published, and I tell you which side of the map you're standing on. Here's the situation. NERC, the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, is the body the federal government designated to keep the lights on. Every January, they publish a 10-year reliability assessment. This year's landed on January 29th. They raised their 10-year summer demand forecast by 224 gigawatts. That's 69% above what they projected 12 months earlier. That's not a revision. That's a correction. 13 of 23 assessment areas came back elevated or high risk. 6 came back high. One of those 6 might be where you're sitting right now. I'll show you the map. But the map isn't the scary part. 6 regions. I'm going to give them to you one at a time. Find yours. Region 1. MISO, the Mid-Continent Operator. Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, 15 states down the spine of the country. NERC has MISO going high risk in 2028. That's the earliest date on the board. Region 2. PJM, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, and pieces of 5 more. 65 million people. High risk from 2029. Region 3. ERCOT, Texas. Its own grid, its own rules. And I'll be fair, the near-term numbers actually improve this year. Read the fine print, though. Load growth still outruns what's being built. Region 4. WCC Northwest. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Western Montana. Region 5. WCC Basin. Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and the corners that touch them. Region 6. SERC Central. Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, up into Kentucky. 6 regions. Roughly half the population of the United States. So, if you're standing in one of those, put your state in the comments. I want to see how many of us are in the red. Because here's what nobody explains. Threat 1. You lose water before you lose anything you actually prepared for. People stockpile for the grid. Flashlights, batteries, a generator in the garage. Almost nobody stockpiles for the second thing that goes, which happens to be the thing that keeps you alive for 3 days. Your water doesn't arrive by magic. Municipal systems run on electric pumps that push pressure through the mains. Those pumps have backup power measured in hours, not days. When the backup runs out, pressure drops. When pressure drops, the utility issues a boil order, and boiling takes fuel you may not have. On a private well, it's simpler and it's worse. No power, no pump, no water. Immediately. Here's the part that gets people. There's a window. When pressure starts falling, there's still water in the pipes and still water in the tower. That window is usually a couple of hours. Most people spend that window looking for candles. So the Badger's rule is this. The first thing you do in an outage is not find a light. It's fill containers. Tub, sinks, pots, bottles, everything, before the pressure is gone. 2 pieces of gear earn their place here. Neither one is expensive. First, a bathtub water bladder. It's a heavy plastic liner that sits in your tub and holds around 100 gallons of clean water. You fill it in about 20 minutes, while pressure is still up. It costs less than a tank of gas. It sits folded in a drawer for years doing absolutely nothing. And then one day it's 100 gallons. Second, a gravity or squeeze filter. The kind hikers carry. Because the water you find on day 4 is not going to be the water you stored on day 1. Links are below. Buy the cheap ones. Buy them now, while the shelves are boring and nobody's panicking. Water is the problem you can solve. The next one, you can't. Threat 2. You go blind. Not dark. Blind. There's a difference, and it's the difference between an inconvenience and a genuinely bad decision. Cell towers have battery backup. Most of it runs 4 to 8 hours. Some sites have generators. Most don't. Once the batteries are gone, the towers are gone, and your phone is a flashlight with a clock on it. Now think about what you actually lost. Not social media, You lost the answer to one question. How big is this? Because your entire plan depends on that answer. If it's your street, you wait. If it's your county, you start rationing. If it's your region, the kind of event NERC is describing in that assessment, you are making completely different decisions, and you need to make them in the first 6 hours, not on day 3. And without information, people default to optimism. Every single time. They assume it's small. They burn fuel. They eat the food that's already thawing. They wait. And on day 3 they find out it was never small. So, the fix. It hasn't changed in 40 years because it doesn't need to. A battery-powered NOAA weather radio. Not an app, a radio. NOAA weather radio broadcasts on frequencies that do not care about the internet, and it carries National Weather Service alerts directly. $30. The hand crank models will run off your own arm. And if you've got family spread across town, a pair of GMRS handhelds. Line of sight. A few real miles, no network required. One note, because I'd rather be accurate than quick, GMRS needs an FCC license in the States. $35, no exam, and it covers your whole family. Do the paperwork now, not in the dark. That's how you find out your mother's fine without driving across a county where none of the traffic lights work. Threat 3. The generator you bought to save you. Every time a region loses power, the same thing happens. People pull the generator out of the garage, and they know not to run it indoors. Everybody knows that. So they put it on the porch, or in the garage with the door up, or right by the window, because the cord doesn't reach any further. Carbon monoxide does not behave the way people assume. It isn't smoke. You can't see it. You can't smell it. And it does not stay outside just because the engine is outside. An open garage door is not ventilation. A porch 6 feet from a window is not distance. After every major storm in this country, emergency rooms fill with generator poisoning cases. It happens after hurricanes. It happens after ice storms. It happens on day 3 of a heat event, when somebody drags the generator closer to the house because it started raining. The pattern is identical every time, and it is completely preventable. So here's the rule, and it is not a suggestion. 20 feet from the structure. Minimum. Exhaust pointed away. Never in a garage. Never in a breezeway. Never under an open window. Never in a shed. And here's the piece almost nobody has. A battery-powered carbon monoxide detector. Not the one hardwired into your ceiling. That one is dead because the power is out. A separate, battery-operated CO alarm that works when nothing else in the house does. About $20. Now I'm going to say something the gear channels won't. If you've got $400 for outage preparedness, and you spend it on the generator instead of the detector, the bladder, and the radio, you bought the wrong thing. The expensive item is not the important item. It almost never is. So what's the pattern here? NERC's own Director of Reliability Assessments put it plainly. In his words, the system is changing faster than the infrastructure needed to support it. Their chief executive called the situation a 5-alarm fire. That's not a prepper on the internet. That's the regulator. In public. On the record. And in February of last year, one fault on the Eastern Interconnection caused roughly 1,800 megawatts of data center load to disconnect at once. All of it. In a fraction of a second. That wasn't a blackout. That was a warning shot. NERC issued a level 3 alert over it, their highest, and the industry's response is due Monday. Here's my read. And it's mine, so weigh it accordingly. They're not hiding this. That's the part people get wrong. It's published. It's public. It's free to download. They're just counting on nobody reading it. If your state was on that map, drop it in the comments. I read them. And subscribe, because next week I'm walking you through the first 72 hours of a regional outage. Hour by hour. Including the 6 mistakes almost everybody makes before lunch on day 1. Badger out.